A woman doesn't come up to you and say, "Hey, I've chosen you. Now kiss me before you change your mind." That's not how we do it. But here's what we do instead. And this is the part most men completely overlook. We communicate with our hands. And I don't mean body language, but the subtle body language that women have used since ancient times to convey clear messages. I'm yours. Make a move. If you don't notice these signals, they won't be repeated. You'll simply ignore them and give them to someone who is. Here's something that might upset you. A study published in the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior found that women send an average of 5 signals of attraction before a man even looks at them. 5 signals. This means that when you think she might be interested, she's already shown you clearly through her body language over the past 20 minutes. And the strongest signals come from her hands, not her eyes or her smile, but her hands, because the hands are a part of the body that most people overlook. Your face is capable of faking a smile. Your voice might sound enthusiastic, but your hand gestures always betray you. Honestly, as a woman, it bothers me how many men ignore these signals without even realizing it. They're practically giving you the green light, and you just stand there thinking it's friendly. No way, honey. The word friendly has completely different connotations in body language. What I'm going to explain to you today will change the way you understand every interaction with women from now on. And be warned, once you learn this, you won't be able to forget it. You'll notice these signals everywhere. At the cafe, at work, on dates, the pressure mounts because you now know exactly when she'll come to pick you up. The only question is, do you have the courage to go for it? At the end of this video, you'll see the hand gestures I care about, the ones that mean "kiss me now," and the ones that will let you know exactly when you're about to lose her. Pay close attention to each important point, because the last one is the most crucial. It's what distinguishes the man who wins a woman's heart from the one who goes home wondering what happened. Hair is a distraction. Let me start with something most women do without thinking. When a woman is attracted to you, her hands move to her hair. But here's the part no one talks about. It's not just about touching your hair. There's a different kind of genuine attraction. She reaches out, touches the hair near your face, then slowly moves her hand towards your neck or collarbone. This subtle movement is key. A woman who plays with her hair holds it, strokes it, and then moves on to something else. A woman who is attracted to you will hold your hand and slow her movements. She mentally draws your attention to her neck, one of the most sensitive parts of the body. Psychologically, revealing her neck is the first sign of trust. In essence, she is telling your subconscious, "I feel safe with you, and I am open with you." Dr. Monica Moore of Webster University spent over 20,000 hours observing women in social situations and concluded that touching hair, along with exposing the neck, is one of the 3 most reliable indicators of a woman's attractiveness. 2,000 hours of observing women flirting. That's a commitment to science. So if she sits across from you and runs her hand through your hair and down your neck, it's not nervousness, it's an invitation. If you don't respond and continue talking about fantasy football, she'll think you're uninterested and avoiding the emotional aspect of the conversation. Something is moving. It's subtle, and most men don't realize it's happening. When a woman slowly starts touching something with her fingers, like the stem of a wine glass, the rim of a coffee cup, or the corner of a menu, she's doing what psychologists call object displacement. She wants to touch you, but social norms don't allow it yet. So her hands transfer that desire to something nearby. Think about it for a moment. Her body is so tense that she needs to touch something to relieve that tension. A research team at the University of Manchester found that a person's tendency to touch increases by more than 60% when they are in the company of someone they find attractive. 60%. Tracing circles with her fingers on the rim of the cup isn't boring. It's an irresistible urge. Surprisingly, most men see this and think, "What a girl who loves her coffee." But no, she's not interested in the cup. She's interested in you. The cup is just a substitute because she can't possibly cross the table and touch your arm during the first 15 minutes of your date. Well, she can, but that brings us to the next signal, which is the beginning of the handshake. When a woman touches your arm while you're talking, she's crossing an important line. Physical touch is a deliberate signal in a woman's arsenal because it requires her to overcome her tendency to demand personal space. We don't touch people we don't like easily. If she puts her hand on your arm while laughing at something you said, it's no surprise. And if she gently taps your shoulder to affirm something, it's not just communication. She's testing the waters, observing your reaction to her touch. Do you lean in or do you run away? A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that light touching during conversation increases attractiveness by nearly 40%. This means that when she touches you, she's not only signaling your attractiveness, but also making herself more attractive in that moment. Women instinctively understand this. We've known this for ages. A simple touch on the arm is one of the most deliberate and effective gestures in the world of women. Yes, I said deliberate. We know exactly what we're doing. If she touches your arm once, she's interested. If she touches your arm twice, she's very interested. If you touch her 3 times and she doesn't react, you'll start to doubt your heartbeat, the light in her palms. This is a signal that might go unnoticed. And frankly, it might be the most telling of all. When a woman shows you her open hands while talking, gestures while speaking, places her hands on the table, or deliberately moves your hand upwards when she gives you something, she's subconsciously expressing openness and confidence. Clenched fists, closed hands, and hands hidden under the table all convey concentrated power. Open palms facing you, however, are a body language that says, I have nothing to hide. I am completely open with you now. Evolutionary psychologists have linked this behavior to that of early humans, where open palms signified a lack of weapons and a sense of trust. So, when she sits across from you and speaks with her hands raised enthusiastically, she's not just expressing her feelings, she's opening up completely to you. And that's what makes it so powerful. Most women do this subconsciously. They're not thinking, let me point at him with my hand. Her body does that because it triggered a feeling that she can't control your nails. Now, let's move on to the part where she says it out loud. If a woman finds a reason to touch your hand, whether it's to compare hand sizes, jokingly read your palm, or rub her fingers against you when she hands you something, she's made a decision. Holding hands is one of the most intimate and romantic touches. Hands contain some of the most sensitive nerve endings in the body. When her fingers touch yours, your brains release a small amount of oxytocin, the bonding hormone. She feels it, you feel it, and she knows you feel it. This is where most men get stuck. She creates an electrical connection, a tiny bridge between her body and yours. Instead of holding his fingers close to hers for another second, the man pulls his hand away as if it were touching a hot stove. Just like that, the magic is broken. When you touch her hand, stay there. Don't pull your hand away. Don't rush. Let the touch breathe. If you can hold that moment with quiet confidence, she'll know you're someone who isn't afraid of intimacy, who isn't afraid of connection. And that confidence is what makes her say to herself, yes, that's what you should have. Reveal your wrist. I put this signal last because it's the most subtle and impactful on this list. The inside of your wrist is one of the most sensitive areas of your body. The skin is thin, the veins are visible, and this area has always been a major vulnerability. When a woman reveals her inside of her wrist to you, or sits with her hands on a table with her wrists raised, or adjusts her bracelet and places her wrist in your line of sight, or rests her chin on her hand with her wrist pointed towards you, she is sending. It's a deeply innate sign of submission and trust, stemming directly from evolutionary biology. Exposing someone's sensitive body parts is a conscious signal that says, I trust you enough to show you my vulnerable areas. Dr. David Geffen, director of the Center for Nonverbal Studies, has written extensively about how exposing the wrists is linked to romantic desire. This is one of those signs that's hard to fake because it comes from deep within her instincts. If you're on a date and you see her wrists constantly moving towards you, open and visible, know that she's giving you something precious. She's giving you her trust. She's showing you that she feels safe enough with you to be completely cautious. If you see that sign and do nothing, if you don't approach her, if you don't take her hand, if you don't kiss her, then you are, in effect, rejecting her trust. And a woman who feels her trust has been betrayed will never come near you again, not for your sake. But that's the connection between everything, and it might be the most important thing you hear today. These signals have a limited time frame. A woman doesn't send them continuously. Rather, she tests the waters with one signal, then another, and perhaps a third. If she receives no response, no reply, and no further action, she will discard all those signals as if they were a fishing line. Once they're gone forever. I've seen this happen hundreds of times. A woman places herself there, leaving subtle but unmistakable marks, and the man sits, oblivious or frightened, then falls completely silent. Her hands return to her lap, her body slumps. She looks at her phone, while the man sits wondering why the power went out after 10 minutes. because the Force has given you the key to the test and you haven't yet completed the answer. The opportunity is there. Time has been passing since you sent the first signal. Respond warmly, confidently, and continue. The opportunity will remain. Pause, and it will close. Not with a bang, but quietly. That faint moan is the worst sound in the world because you only hear it when it's too late. Now I know. The touch of hair on your neck, fingers touching things, an arm touching an open palm, a finger scratching your hand, exposed knuckles. Each one is a woman telling you without words, I have chosen you. All you can do is reclaim what you've lost. And the way to do it isn't with words, but with actions. It's a kiss, a touch, a kiss that says, I heard every signal you sent, and here I am. This is what I want from you. And that's a simple request. Think about the last time you were with a woman and felt things were okay, but you weren't sure. Remember that moment. Did you do what I just described? I bet you did, and I'm sure you're wondering the same thing. Take what you learned today and make a decision. Take action the next time you see those signs. That's all that's required. You watch this video, you gain the knowledge, and now the only acceptable outcome is to use it correctly. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. This is a real subscription, not just to this channel, but to yourself, to a version of yourself that doesn't freeze in crucial moments. When we talk about gestures, you can't ignore them. Everything I've told you about hands is only part of the story, because there's nothing more telling than what a woman does with her hands. This is what you allow them to do with your body. I explain this in detail in my video titled, If a Woman Lets You Touch a Part of Her Body, She Belongs to You. The video continues what I started previously, discussing specific areas of a woman's body and how allowing you to touch them clearly asserts her power over you. If you don't see it, you'll only be able to access your next interaction with half the instructions. It's right there on your screen. Click on it now before you forget everything you've learned.